We are about to enter the realm of creation.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out.
You mean the pit? The pit of creativity. Why clean when you can create?
We are here in Washington. We're in the Pacific Northwest. We are talking to my mom about her sewing and her craft business. This is her special little room. Something that does come to my mind when I come in this room is there's got to be a method to the madness.
Colorized fabric and you never have enough.
Love the wall of fabric. There's something artistic in and of itself just with this wall alone. Mom has been a collector for a very long time. That's, I think, where we got it. I think it's in the blood, hereditary.
Yeah.
It's been passed along. What is this?
It's just a Stanley toolbox that you get at Home Depot.
Okay.
And
which is interesting because, we think of toolboxes as carrying, for mechanics. My mom saw it was like, no, this is going to carry all of my crafts and all my goodies when I go on my trips.
We do retreats, quilting retreats, and they all hook together so you can drag it with the wheels. A featherweight fits perfectly in this. Okay. Plus you have room for an extra light or any of that. The top box is where I keep my iron, tools to hang up my flannel wall, and of course no quilter would not be without their sustenance of candy.
Tools of the trade, candy included.
So when I take my quilting projects, I try to pre-cut the quilt, and I also put that in there. So this top box is completely full when I go. Essentials that you need to run the machines and any extra cutting goes in the next layer of box. Okay. Little rulers, and I have the rotary cutters and the extra plugs, all those little bitty things, Band-Aids for when you get a little too close with the rotary cutter.
We can't create new red designs just unless they're planned.
Yeah. So that's the second layer. This is my flannel wall that I put my quilt up on as I'm working my blocks. So I lined it with a Velcro and put a heavier weight fusible inside on this fabric to protect the machine. This is the foot pedal. And this is my trash bag. Yeah, this is the foot pedal, and you can tell that she's pretty old. This
drum roll.
This is the precursor to the featherweight made by Singer. So this is 1930s. Okay. You can see she's total GE.
Okay.
And she runs beautifully.
Okay.
Just beautifully.
Get that little cool.
I found this at a swap meet for cars, old cars. And my husband being into the old cars, he had his own agenda, and I spotted this on the shelf, and the guy said, I asked how much, and I'm thinking $400 or $500, and he goes, $75. I said, sold. I didn't even have to think. Quilters will pay $400 to $600 for a featherweight Singer machine. Okay. Now the GE is the precursor to the featherweight. Okay. There are more featherweights than there are GEs because GE sold out to Singer. It was just an amazing find. The guy at the swap meet did not know what he had.
So you're seeing now like where the whole thrift logic thing comes into play. It's almost
hereditary.
It's hereditary. If I ran into this, I think we would.
Now for sure we know.
I think we would definitely once it over and be like, oh my gosh, should we get this? Should we get this? But what we wouldn't know is that something built like this, a sewing machine built like, what was it, in the 30s? in the 1930s would be something that would be really valuable and very useful now.
The reason that they're so coveted is they're strictly a straight stitch, and no zigzag, no nothing. They hold that straight stitch perfectly because you're not adjusting that needle left or right at any time. And of course, with quilting, accuracy is very, very important, because if you're not accurate, you go over at least an eighth of a thread. By the end of the 8 inches, you're already an inch short. So the accuracy is really, really important with these. Once you start a quilt with one machine, you have to finish it with the same machine. And they're portable. And quilters love to retreat. They take cruises for retreats up to Alaska with these things. And I'll tell you, every woman on there has a mini machine.
Did you make that pincushion little?
This is one of Mary's.
Oh,
Mary makes these. Yeah, they're scrap catchers. You throw your scraps in there. But when I'm working here, I just throw them in the bucket. But when I'm traveling, then this just hangs here, and this is the pincushion. I went on retreat, and this is run by this rubber, and it broke.
Oh.
So Mary and I took the edge of fabric, which is a salvage, and we tied a loop with a rubber band, and I ran the machine for an entire weekend with that, because you just don't run out and buy those little rubber
It's a specially made little belt, basically plastic rubber belt.
Well, they used to be leather. But yeah, I had it tied with a rubber band so that it went on the side. And
so what's
you couldn't do that with a new machine. I would have been dead in the water.
It's like
But
analog.
she ran 3 days at the quilting retreat. And I'm telling you, we get up at 7 in the morning and we quilt till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Because of her color, I named her Ivy. Now, Mary's is red. And
oh, Mary also has one of those.
not the GE. She has a featherweight. And she had it painted candy apple red.
Oh, I bet you it looks really
And
fun.
so she named hers Sadie.
Ah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Let me
like
check
our
out
children.
these really cool booklets.
Well,
Things that are in there.
there's the local fan, and the light, and the clock, and of course General Electric did the light bulbs, back in the day. But
Fun.
here's an iron and a waffle iron, and this is a stove. There's your refrigerator from the day,
Okay.
and then the vacuum
That reminds
cleaner.
me of the vacuum cleaner we had when we were kids.
We had a Kirby. I hated it.
Kirby.
Hated it.
Hated the Kirby's were not good. What was that?
This is because it weighed 5,000 pounds. You try and vacuum stairs with a 5,000 pound vacuum.
Yeah,
This is a washing machine.
Oh
oh.
my gosh.
Yeah. And these this is a radio from the day.
But we've got to emphasize the music, of course.
Yes. I got 2 of them with the machine. I'm
Let
sure
me see the front of both of those. So what do they look like here?
they're an exact same book. It shows, how to thread it, what the parts are on it, how to oil it, how to thread your bobbin, how to put your bobbin case in, how to adjust your thread so it's not all on the top or all on the bottom. All the things you need for general use on a machine.
Maybe I'll get lucky one day and run into one of those at the thrift shop or at a swap meet. I don't know. But I'm going to keep my eye out. We're going to keep our eyes out for that for sure.
We usually just see the ones that are inside of a cabinet.
When you plug her in, she's on and she stays on.
Okay.
The switch basically just turns the light on.
Okay.
So when I take her to retreat, I don't I don't usually leave her plugged in, or I have her attached to a plug where I can switch the plug off because it's just too dangerous, you know, because that's active and the foot pedal will heat up.
Okay.
So you have to be vigilant. Plug her in. And all this does is turn on that light.
love it.
And that light gets blistering hot. At on-off switches.
Let me see if I can come in around the other side here and see if we can. Can you tell, Mom, if it's pointing at the?
Yeah, it's right at it. Okay, and I always travel with needle down into the deck to keep it safe. And unlike the new machines that feed to the front, these feed from the side. And it's got a bobbin in it, so we're good to go on that. So let me, come on, there we go. Okay. Foot down. And she runs, you know, really fast.
Yeah, really fast.
And make sure that she stays nice and oiled. All the little oil holes on her to keep all the insides. And then also I will grease the motor.
What kind of oil do you use?
Sewing machine oil.
Oh.
I had a upholstery scrap catcher. And I put the foot in it. And it was hot.
Oh.
And then I set it down on the faceplate and it stuck to the back. So that's why I have this big flaw on the back.
Oh, wow.
Eventually I'll probably get a new foot pedal that doesn't show the heat like this one does, so that I will just keep that in the box with the other accessories.
Can you tell me again about the digital machine that you have behind there and the difference?
The difference between this machine and this machine is this one goes forward and backwards. It's strictly for straight sewing, but I could probably sew through canvas with this because they are so sturdy and strong. This machine, you have to adjust for the kind of fabric you use. You've got to change the needles for the fabric you use. All these stitches that are available on the computerized machines adjust this to a different space because I have different feet in order to put on here, because this is just a 1/4 inch quilting foot and they just snap on and off. This is a Viking, so most sewers know that this is just a simple snap on and off.
And that's the foot?
That's a foot, yeah. That's a quilter's foot. You don't really want to take your digital machines like this on trips because of the jostling. You can break your board, or just one little solder on your board, and your machine is totally screwed up. It's in the shop with a lot of work. Let's see, yeah, there's all
Sewing
different
machine
things.
Education in effect.
I use this a lot at home. And she's...
Now this is like a new school workhorse though, right? It doesn't, each of these things have their place.
This is a quilting machine as well, because it has an extra long neck.
Okay.
So you can actually do the quilting. That's after you've put the front that you've pieced, and then the batting, and then the backing. Then you can quilt on this, and you have enough room to get the whole quilt under here. actual quilting back in the day, when this was done, was all done by hand. And they put big stretchers, and that's when they used to do quilting bees, where the quilt group would get together and stretch out a quilt on a big rack, and they would sit around this quilt and hand quilt it. And nowadays, not too many people hand quilt because it's so time consuming, and it's very difficult because you want your stitches as neat and tidy and as close as you can get them. Going through 3 layers of fabric, batting, and backing, it makes it very difficult.
Oh, you're gonna have to show us your quilts again.
The 30s, I'm in love with the 30s because the prints are just so cheerful. Can't wait for the next retreat to take her on. I just love that machine.
What do people think?
I could never make that because it's just too much. Yes, you can. It's sewing a straight line this big. That's all. That's the square. You cut a triangle, and you cut all the red triangles the same, and then you cut the black triangles.
Okay.
And you cut them all the same. And then the pattern will tell you how to place them. So you sew these together.
Okay.
Like so.
So basically, these parts right here, all parts get cut into the triangles.
Or even to the shape that you need. These strips are cut at a certain size, and they fit on this panel.
Okay.
This panel is cut. This panel, they tell you to cut 3 of them on the pattern, the top row and the bottom row. But when you put it together, you put these sections together first. Quilting is just little bitty straight lines all put together. So if you can sew a 2.5-inch straight line, you can make a quilt.
I can make a quilt?
Yes, you can.
What a neat
She doesn't know
design
she's
here.
getting it.
She's all tatted up. This will be like perfect.
Okay, we'll have to cut that part. Maggie, don't watch this video. You're not supposed to know. My mom has one other little thing she wants to feature here. Little toy, I guess. I don't know, I call these things toys, but they're not necessarily toys. They're, you know, professional sewing machines.
Oh yeah, wow.
This is a 1946 301. This was built in 1946.
Whoa, that's nice.
And it was gifted to me by a dear friend who had lost his wife last year.
Okay.
This was her mother's. It has
Let me turn it on there nicely.
a little zipper foot.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. You always gotta love when they still have the old instruction manual. My mom and her craft business and her special little toys. We've learned a lot. This is one segment of our fun little trip to the Pacific Northwest. We're just kind of throwing this in. We thought of it as she started showing us this cool little sewing machine. She has some other ones that we'll probably grab some photos of as well.